as the fact that experience itself, taken at large, can grow by its edges, that one moment of it proliferates into the next by transitions which, whether conjunctive or disjunctive, continue the experiential tissue, cannot, I contend, be denied. Life is in the transitions as much as in the terms connected. Often, indeed, it seems to be there more emphatically, as if our spurts and sallies forward, with the real firing line of the battle, were like the thin line of flame advancing across the dry autumnal field which the farmer proceeds to burn. In this line we live prospectively as well as retrospectively. It is of the past, inasmuch as it comes expressly at the past's continuation. It is of the future, in so far as the future, when it comes, will have continued it. These relations of continuous transition experienced are what make our experiences cognitive. In the simplest and completest cases, the experiences are cognitive of one another. When one of them terminates a previous series of them with a sense of fulfillment, it, we say, is what those other experiences had in view. The knowledge, in such a case, is verified. The truth is salted down. Mainly, however, we live on speculative investments, or on our prospects only, but living on things in posse is as good as living on the actual, so long as our credit remains good. It is evident that for the most part it is good, and that the universe seldom protests our drafts. In this sense, we at every moment can continue to believe in an existing beyond. It is only in special cases that our confident rush forward gets rebuked. The beyond must, of course, always in our philosophy be itself of an experiential nature. If not a future experience of our own, or a present one of our neighbour, it must be a thing in itself, in Dr. Prince's and Professor Strong's sense of the term, that is, it must be an experience for itself, whose relation to other things we translate into the action of molecules, ether waves, or whatever else the physical symbols may be. Footnote. Our minds and these objective realities would still have space, or pseudo-space, as I believe Professor Strong calls the medium of interaction between things in themselves, in common. These would exist where, and begin to act where, we locate the molecules, etc., and where we perceive the sensible phenomena explained thereby. End footnote. This opens the chapter of the relations of radical empiricism to panpsychism, into which I cannot enter now. Footnote. See a pluralistic universe. End footnote. The beyond can in any case exist simultaneously, for it can be experienced to have existed simultaneously with the experience that practically postulates it by looking in its direction, or by turning or changing in the direction of which it is the goal. Pending that actuality of union, in the virtuality of which the truth, even now, of the postulation consists, the beyond and its knower are entities split off from each other. The world is, in so far forth, a pluralism of which the unity is not fully experienced as yet. But as fast as verifications come, trains of experience, once separate, run into one another, and that is why I said earlier in my article that the unity of the world is on the whole undergoing increase. The universe continually grows in quantity by new experiences that graft themselves upon the older mass, but these very new experiences often help the mass to a more consolidated form. These are the main features of a philosophy of pure experience. It has innumerable other aspects, and arouses innumerable questions, but the points I have touched on seem enough to make an entering wedge. In my own mind, such a philosophy harmonizes best with a radical pluralism, with novelty and indeterminism, moralism and theism, and with the humanism lately sprung upon us by the Oxford and the Chicago schools. Footnote. I have said something of this latter alliance in an article entitled Humanism and Truth, in Mind, October 1904. End footnote. I cannot, however, be sure that all these doctrines are its necessary and indispensable allies. It presents so many points of difference, both from the common sense and from the idealism that have made our philosophical language, that it is almost as difficult to state it as it is to think it out clearly, and if it is ever to grow into a respectable system, it will have to be built up by the contributions of many co-operating minds. It seems to me, as I said at the outset of this essay, that many minds are, in point of fact, now turning in a direction that points towards radical empiricism. If they are carried farther by my words, and if they add their stronger voices to my feebler one, the publication of this essay will have been worthwhile. End of chapter 2.